Air pollution is bad for our health. We see the smog and feel the sting in our lungs. A new study links air pollution to cancer. This discovery forces us to confront the true cost of polluted air. It's about our health and future. The study links PM2.5 with head and neck cancers. This is a wake-up call. Cancer is now linked to the air we breathe. We must act now to protect future generations. The fight for clean air is a fight for our lives. PM2.5, short for particulate matter 2.5 micrometers or smaller, is a type of air pollutant so tiny that it can lodge deep within our lungs, even entering our bloodstream. Yet, their impact on our health is far from invisible. Sources of PM2.5 pollution are widespread, ranging from vehicle emissions and industrial processes to power plants and wildfires. This invisible enemy silently infiltrates our bodies, triggering a cascade of health problems. Head and neck cancers encompass a group of cancers that affect the oral cavity, pharynx, larynx, nasal cavity, and salivary glands. These cancers can be debilitating, impacting essential functions like speaking, swallowing, and breathing. The diagnosis and treatment of head and neck cancers can be challenging, often requiring extensive surgery, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy. The link between PM2.5 pollution and these cancers adds a new dimension to this already concerning health issue. While tobacco and alcohol use have long been established as major risk factors for head and neck cancers, the emerging evidence pointing to air pollution as a significant contributor is a cause for serious concern. The types of head and neck cancers linked to PM2.5 exposure include cancers of the larynx, pharynx, and oral cavity. These cancers often present with symptoms such as persistent sore throat, hoarseness, difficulty swallowing, ear pain, and unexplained weight loss. The increasing prevalence of these cancers, particularly in areas with high levels of air pollution, underscores the urgent need for effective air quality control measures. Protecting public health requires a multifaceted approach, including reducing emissions from vehicles and industries, promoting cleaner energy sources, and raising awareness about the dangers of air pollution. The study, published in a leading medical journal, analyzed data from millions of individuals over a span of 2 decades. The results were staggering, revealing a strong correlation between long-term exposure to PM2.5 and an increased risk of developing head and neck cancers. The study found that for every 10 micrograms per cubic meter increase in PM2.5 concentration, the risk of developing head and neck cancer rose by a significant percentage. This increase in risk was observed even at levels of PM2.5 exposure currently considered safe by regulatory standards. These findings are particularly alarming when we consider that millions of people around the world are exposed to PM2.5 levels exceeding these supposedly safe limits. This highlights the inadequacy of current air quality standards and the urgent need for stricter regulations to protect public health. The study's findings serve as a stark reminder that there is no safe level of exposure to air pollution. Every increase in PM2.5 concentration, no matter how small, contributes to an increased risk of developing these deadly cancers. Section 5. Pollution hotspots. Where is the air most toxic? While air pollution is a global concern, certain regions in the United States face a disproportionately higher burden of PM2.5 pollution. These pollution hotspots are often located in densely populated urban areas and industrial centers, where traffic congestion, industrial emissions, and power plants contribute to poor air quality. California's Central Valley, infamous for its smog, consistently ranks among the worst regions in the U.S. for PM2.5 pollution. The region's unique geography, combined with heavy agricultural activity and traffic from major highways, traps pollutants, creating a toxic soup that poses significant health risks to residents. Similarly, the industrial Midwest, with its concentration of coal-fired power plants and manufacturing facilities, experiences high levels of PM2.5 pollution. Cities like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Detroit have long grappled with the health consequences of poor air quality. The presence of these pollution hotspots underscores the need for targeted interventions and stricter regulations to address the root causes of air pollution. Reducing emissions from industrial sources, transitioning to cleaner transportation options, and promoting renewable energy sources are crucial steps towards improving air quality in these vulnerable regions. Section 6. Unraveling the science, the study's methodology. To understand the gravity of the link between PM2.5 and head and neck cancers, it is essential to delve into the rigorous methodology employed by the researchers. The study's strength lies in its comprehensive approach, combining vast datasets, long-term monitoring, and sophisticated statistical analysis. Researchers meticulously tracked the health outcomes of millions of individuals across the United States for several decades. This extensive dataset allowed them to control for various confounding factors, such as smoking history, alcohol consumption, and socioeconomic status, ensuring that the observed association between PM2.5 exposure and cancer risk was robust and reliable. The study relied on sophisticated air quality modeling techniques to estimate historical PM2.5 concentrations across different geographical locations. By linking these estimates to individuals' residential addresses, researchers could accurately assess their long-term exposure to this harmful pollutant. This meticulous approach to data collection and analysis provides strong evidence for the causal link between PM2.5 pollution and head and neck cancers. The study's findings have been met with both alarm and a renewed sense of urgency within the scientific community, prompting calls for immediate action to address this growing public health threat. Section 7. Voices from the lab. Researchers speak out. The groundbreaking study linking PM2.5 pollution to head and neck cancers has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Leading researchers in the field have expressed their concern and emphasized the urgent need for action to mitigate this emerging threat to public health. These findings are a wake-up call, warns Dr. Sarah Jones, lead author of the study. We have long known that air pollution is harmful to our health, but this direct link to cancer is deeply concerning. It highlights the urgent need for stricter air quality standards and policies to reduce PM2.5 emissions. The evidence is clear, adds Dr. Michael Brown, a renowned oncologist specializing in head and neck cancers. Air pollution is no longer just a contributor to respiratory illnesses, it is a significant risk factor for developing these devastating cancers. We must act now to protect our communities from this invisible threat. These voices from the lab echo the growing consensus among health experts. Air pollution is a major public health crisis that demands immediate attention. The scientific community has spoken and the message is clear. We can no longer afford to ignore the invisible enemy in our midst. Section 8. Beyond cancer, air pollution's wider health impacts. While the link between PM2.5 pollution and head and neck cancers is a recent and alarming discovery, the detrimental effects of air pollution on human health are far more widespread. From respiratory illnesses to cardiovascular disease, air pollution poses a significant threat to individuals of all ages and backgrounds. For decades, we have understood the link between air pollution and respiratory problems like asthma, bronchitis, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. PM2.5 particles, small enough to penetrate deep into the lungs, irritate and inflame the airways, triggering breathing difficulties and exacerbating existing respiratory conditions. Moreover, air pollution has been identified as a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure. Studies have shown that exposure to PM2.5 can lead to the hardening of arteries, increased blood pressure, and an elevated risk of blood clot formation, all contributing to cardiovascular complications. Pregnant women and children are particularly vulnerable to the adverse effects of air pollution. Exposure to polluted air during pregnancy has been linked to premature birth, low birth weight, and an increased risk of respiratory problems in infants. Children living in areas with high levels of air pollution are more likely to develop asthma, allergies, and respiratory infections. Section 9. A call to action, protecting our right to clean air. The discovery of a link between PM2.5 pollution and head and neck cancers is a stark reminder of the urgent need to prioritize clean air as a fundamental human right. This invisible threat knows no boundaries, impacting individuals across all walks of life. It is a global crisis that demands a collective response. We must demand stricter air quality standards from our policymakers. Current regulations are inadequate to protect public health, as evidenced by the alarming rates of pollution-related illnesses and, now, cancer. We need bold and decisive action to reduce emissions from vehicles, industries, and power plants, transitioning towards cleaner and more sustainable alternatives. Investing in public transportation, promoting electric vehicles, and incentivizing renewable energy sources are crucial steps in the right direction. We must move away from our reliance on fossil fuels and embrace a future powered by clean, sustainable energy. This is not just a fight for our health, it is a fight for our future. Every breath we take is a reminder of our interconnectedness with the environment. Protecting our air quality is not just an environmental issue, it is a matter of social justice, economic prosperity,